Right, well this is my 2016 week 9 I believe Mini Cooper S. It's got a few options on it. I've had it 18 months now, I had it from new and so I've had it so long and not made a video of it, so I thought I would. Not that it's going to be much cop. It's also just started to rain after I found a secluded enough spot to not feel terribly embarrassed about talking a load of guff in public. Right, so Thunder Grey, which I didn't choose particularly because I liked it. I didn't really like an awful lot of the colour palette, to be honest, that Mini had on offer, but Thunder Grey is one that's unique to the Cooper S and JCW, so only about a couple of 100,000 models will have it, so it's really exclusive. So I had that. I was going to have it in black, but it didn't go with the tentacle spoke wheels, which you can see there, which I really liked for some reason at the time I got them. I mean, I still do like them. They look good when they're clean, but I now on Thunder Grey colours, but I prefer. There's a car coming. I'll try not to look like I'm up to anything daft. Yeah, on Thunder Grey cars, the black wheels I think look better. It's the black 17s I like. A lot of people, you see them more on Coopers actually. A lot of people have 18s on Cooper S's. Because I had an R53 and an R56 Mini Generation 1 and Generation 2 under BMW ownership on 17s and on run flats, it made me very paranoid about run flats. So when you go 18s, you have to have run flats if you go for the, what are they called? I can't think what they're called, but anyway, you'll know the ones that have got like the painted silver perimeter on the. Oh, there's a jogger coming. Oh Christ. The jogger has passed. Yes, what was I saying? Thunder Grey, 17-inch, 18-inch wheels. But there's a lot of potholes around here in Cheshire where I live, so it was a no-no really for me, just for peace of mind. In terms of exterior options of specs, the 17-inch tentacles are, I think, the standard wheel when you go for the chili pack, seem to remember. Privacy glass on the rear, kind of everyone has it, don't they? Not sure there's a vast need for it, but it does make it look better, I suppose, and that's what it's all about. Standard rear valance, I haven't gone for the John Cooper Works front and rear valances. I think they look fine on a JCW, but I just wasn't going to pay for them. You know, I'm quite happy with that. I didn't go for the chrome line interior as well. I thought I've got a bit too much chrome going on in that ugly gaping mouth they've put on the front of it. It looks a bit like Cherie Blair. Privacy glass, JCW spoiler. I think it's a lovely piece of work. And the other thing, for things that just slot into place, it works its way around the aerial very nicely if you're into that sort of thing. The other thing with a F56 Mini, careful how you close the boot. Don't slam it, whatever you do, just get to the bottom and drop. When you go to a car wash and someone else does it, you'll wince as they slam it. Unless of course you're one of those decent people who wash their own cars, but that's not me. I said it was a week 9 2016 build. One of the reasons I actually had it ordered at halfway through week 7, I think, but we stalled it so that I could have LED lights for slightly less, which I'll just put on. You can see there they became part of the chili pack in week 9, and certainly they're a lot nicer. I think they look good at the rear. At the front, standard fare. I haven't got them on because I've only got side lights on, I've just realised. One of the other things, I've got quite a tight garage. So exterior folding mirrors. Now you can do it from a button on the electric mirror panel, but you can also do it from the remote. So if you hold unlock down, I'll hold unlock down actually, because the other thing it does is if you've got the settings right, and also if you're holding the button right, hold on. There you go. So you can do that from the remote. So far, so uninspiring. But if I hold lock down, you'll see that almost in perfect parallel they close. I've got, like I said, I've got quite a tight garage, so it's necessary for me. I also took on the 27th of December this year, so about 9 months ago, I took most of the left side off, the lower left side of the car off when I parked next to a low wall, in order to be away from anyone who was going to park too close, and forgot about it when I came back and just steered straight into it, which was nice. I've got the video of that, so I might put that up. I can bear to watch it now. The signature twin rear exhaust on the Cooper S looks good. Makes lovely pops and burbles as well from the outside, but you just can't really hear them from the inside. What else have I had on it? Let's have a look here. You can see I've got the red. Oh, shut up, you tart. Oh, it has shut up. I've got the Colourline red interior. It's such a cheap option, but it livens up an otherwise quite dour interior, I think. I've got the standard kind of checker design across the dashboard. I've also got Media XL, which looks like it's got slightly less screen real estate than the standard sat-nav, but it's just lower, wider and high res. What else is there? The other thing with week 9, I think actually quite a car going. It wasn't a car, it was two cyclists, one from the front and one from behind, if that's your sort of thing. I've just had a brief look at the spec sheet. Apparently a no-cost option was mirror caps and roof in the black, which, to be honest, I thought was standard. Maybe it isn't, that's just how the crazy BMW options computer does things. I also said about my hate-hate relationship with potholes, and that's why I've opted for the 17-inch wheels instead of the 18s. The other thing I spec'd up was variable damper control. I think as a list price option it's something like 275, 375, something like that. So by the time you get it on a PCP, you're paying a pittance a month for it. So I'll take you through that in another video, just because certainly at the time I bought, which is 18 months ago now, no one really seemed to know a lot about it, and the guy I bought it from was very knowledgeable, actually, in fairness, and his précis of it was a bit different to how it turned out. Not that I'm disappointed with it in any way, it's just it was more sort of relief that it was okay when I got it, because I didn't really feel I knew. I also hadn't had a car with variable dampers before, so I didn't know what to expect in the way it was set up. But yeah, it's good. I'll take you through that, like I say, because there's very little information about it, I find, or certainly there didn't used to be. What else is there? I didn't get headlamp wash wipe, which was a touch annoying, because I thought I'd spec'd it and obviously hadn't, or I thought it was part of another pack. It wasn't. The packs can get very confusing, especially if you're an idiot. The other thing I've got, which would ordinarily be the correct way up, of course, is the John Cooper Works steering wheel, complete with upside down John Cooper Works logo. It also has red stitching. You don't get red stitching on the gear lever. You only get it if you go for the manual. So if you go for the John Cooper Works steering wheel on an auto, I'm not sure if it's the same price, but you do get a lovely bit of red detailing down the centre of the gear stick. You don't get that on the manual. So that's not it's not a deal breaker, but it was a little bit, you know. You can't help but be disappointed with things sometimes, can you? When you've got them all planned out in your head. Right, I will take you through a few of the things on the interior of the car in the next video. The other thing is to remember that obviously this F56 Mini came out in 2014, and it's sort of halfway through its life cycle. I'd imagine BMW will get 7 or 8 years out of it, which means it's already been publicised. Some of the things are changing to it, so a lot of things in this video will probably be outdated very soon. So perfect timing by me, just to post something that's completely irrelevant, really. It's also very bad camera work and very bad narration, which I'm aware of, but hey, them's the breaks, as they say. Right in there. Right, so anyone familiar with a BMW will recognise the general kind of iDrive business. It's very much the BMW system, just made to look like it's a children's activity set, really. But it's all very nice and intuitive to use, well, mostly anyway. Navigation, you can see if I go onto the map there, it's a lovely display. Obviously, the way things are going as well, and BMW are not supporting Android on their upgraded or on their new system that you'll find in the Countryman and on the new BMW models. So I'm not quite sure, especially with how good Google Maps is with traffic and things like that now. I think a link up to the phone would be more beneficial to me in the future, unless BMW's traffic and time estimates are going to get better. They used to be very good in a world where nothing else offered it. Now they're a bit rubbish. I'm not sure now the price that is charged for this system, whether it would now meet what I want from it. Let's go on to the car setup so I can get to variable dampers, if I can remember where they are. Driving mode, right, here we go. Right, so you've got on the collar of the gearbox you have sport to the left, green to the middle, and in the it's a sort of switch where it just reverts back to the middle each time. But you go sport to the left, then mid, then green. So that's sport to the left, then mid, then green. If I keep moving it left, move it back again, etc. So it just stays wherever you last leave it. Now, what we can do here is we can also turn a horrible little graphic on as well, which is really condescending. So sport mode, maximum go-kart feel. Well, it's not, is it? But you know, still. So mid mode, typical mini driving fun, and then green mode, low consumption. Now green mode really affects what you're going to get from that loud pedal when you put it down. It really does very little. You don't want to be pulling out onto a roundabout or anywhere in a hurry with it, because you will scare yourself. It's like being in sort of a 0 to 60 in 14-15 second car. It feels very, very sluggish. It really does. Anyway, so you can't do anything on the mid mode with dampers. So when it says configure sport, what it's going to ask me here is what I want from the engine and the dampers in sport mode. So do I want it as I've got it set to turn up the drivetrain, i.e. hence the tiny rocket there. So when it goes into sport mode, only focus on the drivetrain. Do I want it not to use any more oomph, as it were, and just stiffen the chassis up, or stiffen the dampers up, or both? And I always have it on drivetrain only, and on green. It's amazing what you forget, isn't it? In green, there are no dampers whatsoever, because they will automatically go in soft mode. So what actually happens, I've just remembered now. What actually happens on green mode is the only place you can do anything with it is the is sport mode. So you can basically choose whether you want sport mode to increase the firmness of the damping or keep it soft. You don't get any mid-level damping. So the standard setup on any Mini Cooper S is not available when you have a car with variable dynamic control. That is my view of it. So what I understand is that, say the baseline of the standard car without any variable damper control is zero. What you have on this is minus 10% in normal mode, or plus 10% when you put it to sport, or if you select the firm damping rather. In my car, because I've got it set as you saw, I never have the firm damping unless I go into that menu and specify it. I've never really driven it with the firm damping, to be honest, because I didn't want to. It's like when you get a new phone. I'm saying when you, I mean I, because I'm a bit weird. When I get a new phone, I don't use it before a screen protector's on, because I don't want to know what I'm missing in terms of how it might feel. And that's the same way in this. When I picked it up on the way home, I switched it to the soft dampers, so I've only very, very seldom used firm damping on it. Since we're on it, on the media, you can see you get a lovely kind of iPod-esque little album cover. You know, it's all good. There's a 20 gig hard drive if you go for Media XL as well, and it also you can still use a USB stick as well. You just select from the menus depending on what you want. I don't think you can use random on MP3s. Might be wrong. Maybe you can on the hard drive, not on the USB stick. Also, if I go onto the music and I say that's not music, that's a map. Right. If I go track, squeeze, tempted.
Did you say Sweet Home Alabama?
Right. Well, that didn't work, did it? Let's try again. I think it's because I used an artist when I as well as the track. Track, tempted. Track, tempted.
Tempted.
And there you go. And it would have played it, but I've got the volume down so I don't infringe on any Google copyrights. Google? Any copyrights, full stop, YouTube, whatever, which is of course owned by Google, although Google isn't the company, it's owned by Alphabet. Yeah. You can see as well I've got a plethora of dash cams, a high-res one, a low-res one over there that's tied up with rubber bands because I broke it, and then one rear-facing. 3 of the 4 have saved me money on insurance, not insurance, have got me out of insurance claims when people have basically driven into me and I've been able to prove it. So they're a wise investment for anyone. Obviously, a bit of a dog's dinner of wiring up there. Looks a bit like it's intrusive, but obviously from my driving position, once you factor the rear view mirror in, they're not quite as intrusive. The office, if you go into the office, you can see recent text messages and emails. Setting up with an email account. People seem to have an issue with this on BMWs and Minis from what I've seen. If you just make sure that your phone's actual native email app has the primary mailbox you want to use in the car set as that, it will connect to it. That's certainly how it is. I've got a Samsung S6 and it's fine. So, you know, just don't use any third-party apps, basically. Or, well, you can use them, but just make sure that in the native app to the phone that it's set up for your mailbox you want to use. Telephone or standard multimedia, radio. Don't think there's an awful lot going on here. You've got DAB obviously, and I've just realised this is an awful fisheye lens. I hope that's not going to look really bad, although it obviously could. I've got the standard Cooper S seats. I think they're Cooper S. Let me just get out of the car again. Oh, it's raining now. Hold on. Yeah. So it's the standard Cooper S, leather back with cloth buckets and a kind of slightly Golf GTI-esque check on it, I would say. Oh, I've just trod on a bloody cable. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention, which is kind of a bit of a USP as far as this class of car goes, is the rev matching on the manual box that the Cooper S has. So basically it makes you look a little bit of a hero when you're in sport mode and you're down changing. The revs will just kind of mimic you doing racing down changes, and that's when you get the pops and the burbles. I think the only other cars, certainly that I'm aware of, are, well, I believe Nissan perfected it when they launched the 370Z. Porsche have it on the GT3 911. The AM V8, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, the swan song they've done of that, which has a dogleg manual box, also does the rev matching, and maybe there's some other stuff as well, but I'm not aware. Obviously, there's bits in the BMW family that do it as well. But in terms of other manufacturers, certainly at this price point, there's nothing else that does it, as far as I'm aware of. And in an era when everyone is moving away from manual boxes, it's a little thing that keeps it interesting, really. The manual box in the Cooper S isn't the best. It's certainly not as good as the Fiesta ST, the outgoing Fiesta ST, the one that's about to be, well, the one that has, I imagine, ceased production and will be replaced by the 2018 model, and it's not anything like as crisp as the box in the Audi S1. However, neither of those two cars do the rev matching, so horses for courses. It's a little thing that, were I to move away from a Mini with my next car, I think I would definitely miss.